আচ্ছা, যেটা নিয়ে কথা হচ্ছিল হচ্ছে যে এই এন্টার সেলুলয়েড ডিজিটাল ডিভাইডটা, এবং সেখানে এবার ইউ হ্যাভ গট দিস লাইক হিউজ লাভ অ্যাফেয়ার উইথ সেলুলয়েড, এবং সেই জায়গা থেকে when you're say making a film like রতি চক্রব্যূহ, তো সেইটা তো again is মানে unless you've got a digital platform, I don't think that's possible in today's scenario, today's context. So how would you address that? Well, if I may say it's a contradiction, so how would you address that?
It's not a contradiction. That is the first thing. There's a contradiction between cinema and video. That's something you have to. There's a difference of cinema, video, digital. There are three things. Often people are forgetting video. However, video doesn't have that image fidelity. Video doesn't have that image fidelity. Like in today's term, it is maximum is standard def, and standard def could never match cinema's 35mm, even 16mm image fidelity. So therefore, video was never really challenged cinema. What video did, it created another form of practice. The conversation between cinema, video and digital has always been a conversation between image quality, which is true. But the digital image fidelity, with the rise of 2K and 4K, and now they are going 8K, the image fidelity has taken the other turn. It is digital cinema's image is far more superior in terms of fidelity than the cinematic. However, this is not the crux of the issue. The crux of the issue is theory of practice. The cinematic theory of practice is very different. So my love from cinema emerges from that form of practice, where you are shooting on negative and you do not see the image, what you have shot, till it goes through a lab process, prints, and then a projection. So what you have in the cinematic theory of practice is what I would call a space between the moment you shoot and the moment you see. And I think and in this practice, this is a productive space. This is a productive space because this is the space where a certain form of anticipation builds up, and this anticipation allows for the practitioner to think of his shot in a different way. In the case of digital, in the case of video and now the digital, this space of anticipation is completely erased. As a matter of fact, in the digital and the video, what you see is even pre-shot. You can see it even before you shoot. So it just goes to another form of practice. Now, this is a different form of practice, so there is no contradiction. Cinema is a practice which allows for an anticipatory process in that particular practice. In the case of digital, you do not have that anticipatory process. And this anticipatory moment, space, process is a very productive space, which exists in cinema, doesn't exist in video and digital. Now, as a practitioner, I like that space. I like it because it allows for a certain possibility of thought. In the case of digital, it doesn't exist. Is it better or is it worse? Depends on a practitioner. So it is a matter of choice.
I'll have a slightly different view on this from a technical perspective. Here you are talking about a practice where you have put in a lot of time, you have put in a lot of thought into execution and so on and so forth. But over time, say it does not last for more than 15 to in fact in some cases, especially in our country, even less. So essentially what is happening is that the format or that practice, the evidence of that practice becomes diluted over time into something which is completely different. Here in this case, in digital, what you have is you have the facility of showing your film in the format it was shot, because I'm a strong proponent of the fact that the film or cinema should be shown in the format that it was created in. So unless in case of digital, what you have is you have the original source in digital, so it becomes the original format, and you can show it over time without any perceptible loss of quality. one way of thinking about celluloid would be where you accept this change as a very organic thing which happens with all things, like the human body itself. It grows old, so the celluloid grows old. So it's almost like a certain way of thinking about it very organically. But and that has that, by the way, has been one of the reasons given for celluloid's shall we say status over the digital. But if you look at it very rationally, then the human mind actually sees in terms of video. In the workflow is like video. It's not like celluloid at all. As in, there is no exact impression of image forming anywhere in the brain. So they are all electrical impulses. Now essentially video does the same. There is no essential impression of image anywhere. If you take out the drive, if you take out the SD card or whatever, hard drive or whatever, you're not going to find any image. But it is there when put into a certain algorithm and a certain workflow. So in that sense, in a very in terms of comparison, in that sense, the video or the digital cinema works much more like human perception.